I want students from smaller cities to know that anything is possible if you work hard and if your aim is excellence, to pursue excellence, you can reach wherever you put your mind to.
Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Superlawyer YouTube channel. We have with us today Yashasvi Tripathi ji. She is a dual qualified lawyer in India and New York as well, with deep expertise in M&A, private equity, and cross-border transactions. She is also a new mom who is very passionate about mentorship and have been actively mentoring law students nationally and internationally who are planning to practice in US. Especially. She also advises on high-level deals across industries such as food and beverages, franchisee matters, healthcare, energy, and hospitality. She is an alumna of NLU Delhi and NYU School of Law, which makes her bring a new global perspective. We at Super Lawyers try to bring in these interviews that may help students as well as law learners who want to gain perspective regarding legal field as well as life. I'm Divya Dwivedi, host of Super Lawyer YouTube channel and a team leader. Let's welcome our guest for the day. Welcome to our episode, Ms. Yashasvi Tripathi. Hi.
Hi, namaste. Very nice to meet you. And thank you for inviting me to your platform. And I'm really looking forward to our conversation so that maximum students, law learners, law interns, lawyers, whosoever are following your channel, they can learn from my experience and benefit from the journey that I have taken. I'll be really happy to share my learnings with folks in India.
Thank you so much. So as a dual qualified lawyer, we would love to start from the very beginning, as in how and when you decided to do law, and how did you end up deciding for yourself that now is the time to move on and do your LL.M as well. We would love to understand your journey, challenges, and how you have made your road to the excellence path.
Sure. So I'm from Benares. I did my schooling from Benares, and my father has a business and does a lot of social work in Benares. So back then, when I was in school, he used to write letters to all the authorities for some or the other legal issue or trouble or some policy changes that he thought was required for the businesses in India. I used to take active interest in what he's writing to authorities. And he used to also ask me to maybe write the letter, first drafts of those letters. So I think writing and my interface with law and business started from my household. And then when I was faced with the question, what I want to do, now when I look back, I think it was a very funny thing. I had a lot of doctors in my home. So the obvious choice was a doctor. And when I said that I would want to become a doctor, everyone said in my home, like, oh no, you should become a civil servant because we have lots of doctors. So I wanted to become a civil servant initially, and that's why I went to National Law University, Delhi. I was like, in Delhi, we have everything. All the coachings and law was a great subject for IS aspirants. But then when I started studying law, even like before entering my law college, before entering National Law University, Delhi, when I started preparing for CLAT and ILET exams, I fell in love with law. I used to read Indian Express daily. I used to read the Hindu daily in Benares itself. I used to do online coaching. I used to do career launcher because in Benares back then, it was not a very known option. I did it in when? 2012. So many years back. I think now it feels like history. So I'm reminding myself of those instances. So I started reading newspapers, following news of legal knowledge and everything. And then I fell in love with law. And then I thought after law, you can do all the things that a civil servant or a politician does, right? You have public interest litigation, you can fight for rights of the disadvantaged people, you can be a corporate lawyer if you want, you could be anything. Sky was the limit, and there were several options. So I was like, I want to stick to law. And you can meander your ways. You don't have to be necessarily a public lawyer. You don't necessarily have to be a private lawyer or a corporate lawyer. You can do whatever you want. That's when I decided that I want to be a lawyer. Initially, I was thinking I would practice in the Supreme Court of India. I never decided that I would go to the US. So, with that frame in mind, that I'll practice in the Supreme Court of India or in all of the courts in India, I pursued my education. By God's grace, I was selected in National Law University, Delhi, and I was the first person from Benares to go into that institution. And my rank was, I think, All India rank sixth. I think for a long time, I was the only person from Benares in National Law University, Delhi. So I went there, and God has been very kind, and my parents have been very supportive that I went to National Law University, Delhi. I got tremendous exposure in Delhi. But one thing is sure, if you do hard work, you will succeed. I had no legal background, and I didn't know where I would want to end up after 5 years. I had no idea. So I did some 21, 22 internships in college, and I can say that it is one of the highest number of internships that anyone had done in my batch. And I didn't used to come back to my hometown, which is Benares. I used to stay in Delhi, even in summer vacations or winter vacations. I used to intern, because I was not sure if I would want to go to private sector, NGOs, litigation, what. So I did all kinds of internships. Then I decided for myself, I think I am guided by two principles in my life, which is hard work and then to be the best version of myself. Like hard work, and I want to be the best version of myself wherever I am. So when I landed in Delhi, in NLU, I thought to make the best version of myself, I should pursue an LL.M. And then I would come back and practice in India. I was like, my education is not complete. Why not to do LL.M. again? So after pursuing all the internships, after working really hard in college, I decided I will pursue an LL.M. And that's how I started writing my SOPs and appearing for different kinds of exams or applications that one has to do for an LL.M. And that's how I went to New York University for my LL.M. But I want all law students to know that anything is possible, but especially students from smaller cities, because I consider myself from Benares, which was back then even a smaller city. It was not a PM's constituency. It was not the sought after destination or city that it is now, and which I'm very happy about. But I want students from smaller cities to know that anything is possible if you work hard and if your aim is excellence, to pursue excellence, you can reach wherever you put your mind to.
Amazing. From being in one of the top universities in India to one of the top universities in the world. So, how was your journey and the transition? Because definitely there must be a lot of difference in between the academia of NLU Delhi and New York University School of Law. While you were pursuing, what all you did and how did you make sure that your hard work pays off in US as well? And what was your challenge over there? Or maybe whatever you felt like that it is very different and this is how I can do it differently with all my diligence and all my hard work that I can put in. We would love to hear that story as well so that students and learners can understand that for a person who has done 22 internships in NLU Delhi, has ended up being in NYU, and she has made a name for herself. How have you done that?
It should be near 22, 21, 25. I'm not sure of the number now. You can check my LinkedIn, and I'm not even sure if I put all of them over there. But anyway, I would want current students or current law students to take LL.M. not only as an academic pursuit, not only as an academic course. I want to take it as a professional pursuit as well. I don't want law because it's a lot of investments. I don't want students to just go and study, of course, who can afford it and who have academic inclinations or want to pursue academia, for sure, please, by all means, go and do that. But many students fail to understand that LL.M. is an opportunity to pursue professional opportunities as well, and for which they have gone to the US. So utilize LL.M. for networking opportunities, for exposing yourself to different careers and career professionals. I don't want current NLU students or any law students who are in fifth year thinking they will study as much as they can in 1 year when they are going to the US or to London or Singapore. They should have a balanced course, have the minimum number of credits that you want to do, and then start learning from outside of the college or outside of the classroom as well. You have conferences every day, you meet professors, you go to law firms, attend their networking events, and learn what profession is. So that thing is very important. This is something that students will start thinking when they are in their fifth year of law school. But this is one takeaway that I had. And to answer your question, the difference between NYU and NLU Delhi was that in NYU, it's a totally Socratic method of education. No one is going to look if you are doing the studies or not. You have to guide your own education. You have to pick your own subjects. You have to guide your own education. You are just responsible for your future like any adult person. So I think an LLM or a master's should be done by an adult who knows what he or she is doing, what he or she wants to pursue. If you're not sure about that, I would say do few years of job in India before going to NYU or any LLM for that matter. And in NYU, I had amazing faculties who are already great and excellent professionals. Those were my faculties. Even when we were in classroom, we were getting practical knowledge, like theoretical knowledge as well as practical knowledge, how you would do something in a law firm or in a court. That's what makes LLM different. That's why it is masters. So one thing, this is the difference. And again, landing a job in the US was very difficult. As Indian citizens, we have to get H-1B sponsorship. You have to qualify a lottery. Then you have to get H-1B sponsorship. You have to qualify the bar exam. Again, if you want, I can elaborate on the subject of how to land a job in the US, but that itself is a different conversation. So up to you, Divya, what you want me to elaborate on.
Love to understand that also, because obviously the people or the students who would like to maybe see how they can plan it, like you have explained that these are the processes, it will be very, very helpful if you can talk a little bit about this aspect as well, how to land a job actually, because that is another struggle. First struggle is to reach there, and then second struggle is to find a better job where you can stay and work as well.
Sure. So when we are in LLM, first of all, we are outside of our shelter. We have to start managing our food, our household, and it's a foreign country. You are away from your family. It's new people. Plus, it's a pressure of finding a job. It's a lot of things. So I always tell students to prioritize your well-being, give full 100% to your education, because at the end of the day, all employers are going to look at your transcript. So you should be very sure not to overburden yourself and not to take extra credits just for your academic satisfaction. Take those kind of credits which will help you to land jobs in the US. Like if I'm a corporate lawyer, if someone wants to be a corporate lawyer, they should take mergers and acquisitions, securities, business law, contracts drafting, subjects like this, which make you eligible to sit for the bar exam and which make you a good candidate for the law firms over there. First, take only those kind of subjects. This can be a very controversial thing that I'm saying. Don't do subjects for your academic interest, but to each its own. And if you have been there with a lot of financial difficulties and with a lot of difficulties, you want to make sure that you get best opportunity when you are out of that college. I speak with several students from India, and all they want is a job in the US after doing LLM, because they have put that kind of resources to get selected for an LLM to go there. So I would say manage your academics well, don't overburden yourself, and do well in academics. Start networking outside of your law school, inside your law school, network with your law professors. And networking is a long process. Like everyone says, network, network, network. But what is it? First, I would say it's a sport. The more you do, the better you become at it. And it's going to be a two-way process. Like it's mentoring. You are going to be a mentee to someone. But again, just don't be entitled folk to anyone. Just don't go walk up and say, I need a job. You have to learn from their experiences. You have to invest time with them so that the people who are you speaking with in the US, who are you networking with, they should understand that this person, so and so, is worthy of mentoring. Become mentees to some good professional in the US, learn from their experiences, follow them, genuinely learn from them. And it's a two-way street. Everyone knows when you are speaking with them that you're looking for a job. So at the end of the day, if they find an opportunity, they would let you know. And you have to keep talking to multiple people, reach out on LinkedIn, email people. That's what I did. And that's how I got a job. And that's how law students from India who have no connections or who don't have background in law, they have to make their own connections, and that's how they will land a job. But it's all about hard work and perseverance. It's not about how smart you are to get a job in the US. It's about your perseverance and your hard work.
About how diligent and how active you are, also the way you have been while being in US. When you started your LLM and you started working, you were also legal research analyst with Jethmalani and LLC PLC. After that, you have been associate with Nisit Desai Associates as well in US itself. So how did you plan it? Because the way you have gradually decided things for yourself and achieved it, I will say, how did you plan it? How did you make the move? Why did you decide to join these institutions? Because they already are a very big name. And when you may have planned to or may have gotten the opportunity of joining them, there must be some plan after it, that after this is what I can achieve. And how did your internships or the kind of work profile you had in India help you understand the working environment of India and US as well? Because there also is a huge difference. As in academia, it's a similar difference in professional realm also. So how did you cope with that? How did you adjust with that? And what were the kind of strategies that you may have followed to make sure that you adjust to it well and obviously work as hard as you always do?
I started my professional journey, I would say, in the US. I did all kinds of internships in India, but I never worked in the US. I went directly for my master's. But I worked with two institutions, as you have named, Jethmalani and Alasate and Nishad Desai Associates, whose headquarters or whose one of the main offices are in India. So I have worked with Indian institutions, I would say. And then I went to Deckert, which is a big law. And then I went to Davis Wright Tremaine, which is a big law currently. As you said, it's different. But I always wanted to be a New York lawyer, to be a US attorney. And I was in New York. So I wanted to be a NY attorney when I was in LL.M. So as I told you initially, I have always been driven by hard work and to be best, at least to persevere for best where I am. And when I was in LLM, then I understood that being in the US and be employed there is very difficult, and you have to be hardworking and good in academics, good in networking and everything. Only then you can land a job in the US. So that become a challenge for me. And whenever I'm faced with any challenge, I am motivated to do it. So I had to come back to India after LLM. But I was like, oh no, this is very challenging. Only best of the best, apparently, only best of the best in quote unquote can do it. But after these many of experience, I can say it's not about the best of the best. It's about hard work and perseverance. And I told my father, Dad, why not I pursue a few years of employment in the US? I want to get a job and then I'll come back. So back then, I started looking for opportunities. And as I said, I had no professional experience from India. I went directly from my NLU Delhi to NYU. So landing a job for me was very difficult. That's why when I speak to current LLM students who have few years of experience, I tell them you are already at an advantageous position than what I was. So I started at this first opportunity that I got, which was an immigration law firm. It was not a corporate law firm. Jethmalani and Nella said, my employer was Mr. Anil Jethmalani. He still continues to be my mentor. He was very kind to give me my first job. He saw that I was being genuine. I have interned, but I have no professional experience. But he gave me my first job. He sponsored my visa. And I started working there very diligently as an immigration attorney. And we don't have immigration practice in India. Of course, it is outsourced, but no, it's not there. I started working there, but I was always interested in corporate law. So I used to network before going to my office to do my job, which, is paying my bills. You have a lot of rents and doing everything after my LLM. I used to go to different law firms and network. After my office, I used to go to conferences and meet people. I used to write folks on LinkedIn and meet people or ask them for coffee calls or informational interviews. That's how I moved to Nishit Desai Associates. And again, Mr. Vaibhav Parekh of Nishit Desai Associates, he is the head of US offices of Nishit Desai. I met him. He has been amazing. He has been my mentor. I haven't spoken to him in a long time, but he has been a great mentor to me. And this was my first corporate law job. I didn't have a corporate law background from India. I was interested to pursue something else. But that's how, when I was exposed to do different things, because I didn't have any exposure or anyone in law from my family, I did all of the internships. I went and met people. I followed news and I used to decide what I want to do next. I had no fixed plan. Then I decided I want to be a corporate lawyer. I decided this in New York. People have planned this that they want to be a corporate lawyer. Then they go to LL.M. Then they do the jobs, right? I decided this when I finished my LL.M. that I want to be a corporate lawyer. So Mr. Vaibhav Parekh saw potential in me, thankfully that he did. And then he offered me my first corporate law job in New York. And in Nishit Desai Associates also, I worked very diligently. I hope they also think like that. And there I worked for almost 1.5 years, I think, or 2 years, I'm not too sure. But in Nishit Desai Associates, the thing is that you are practicing Indian law. We are co-counsels with foreign law firms. So we are doing work for US clients who want to have Indian operations. So we are basically practicing Indian law for US clients or for US law firms. And I, having done my LL.M. from New York and cleared bar exam and everything, I wanted to be a part of even bigger global law firms, even bigger law firms, and be a part of even more complicated deals. That's how I shifted to Big Law, to Deckert. That involved a lot of networking, a lot of meeting people. Then I came to Davis Wright Tremaine, which is where I am right now. Here I'm practicing US laws. I'm a US attorney and I'm practicing M&A. And here the cases, the clients I'm working for and the cases I'm doing are very complicated, are very high profile, and I enjoy working on them. It has been very enriching and challenging journey so far.
Moving from Indian law firm to a US corporate law firm, which is one of the biggest over there, what was your way to transition? Because again, I'll ask the same question. The work environments are always different. The kind of stress is different. The kind of thought process is different. How you deal with clients, how you deal with yourself and your office as well. Because all of this, you are doing it single-handedly. How did you make that transition so easily or with a challenge with your hard work? Also, the kind of understanding of international jurisdictions is absolutely different when you are practicing in litigation or you are practicing corporate law in office, in house. What is your understanding about that? And if you would like to impart some or shed some light on that so that learners can understand that particular difference in between choosing these kind of laws, because most of the times it's like when we enter law colleges, we start thinking we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do that. But at the end, we decide after certain amount of experience. You can't decide it on day one, like you decided after you completed your LLM. So what prompted you to decide on this corporate law and how have you managed so far? It's like imparting that particular knowledge for our youngsters so that they can understand that they should not rush it. They should do it in a diligent fashion with, as you said, hard work and perseverance, along with diligence and obviously some time.
So I thought of corporate law and I decided on corporate law because it's very dynamic and it's very fast moving. And I'm a person, sorry to say, which has less of patience. So I want fast moving things, or I want fast results. And litigation takes many years, and same as arbitration. I was interested in international arbitration as well, and I pursued a lot of courses in that. I have publications also in those things. But I was seeing that corporate law is dynamic, is fast moving. I will be counsels to businesses, which was my motivation to be a lawyer at the very first place, having seen my father. I would be their go-to person. I would be meeting clients from business community. And it's very fast-paced, dynamic, and everything. And it's logical. You have things in your control. You don't have to stand in courts for hours. You are not in front of any tribunals. If things are in your control and your co-counsels or your peer controls, I am working for my client and the other law firms are working for their clients. And I'm a very collaborative person as well. So we collaborate and give results. Like we collaborate and we merge two companies. We collaborate and we acquire, merge, sell, or whatever it is, spin off. And I wanted to do business law. So that's how I decided to be a corporate lawyer. And I'm happy about my choice of law. You can see your results in real time of your hard work, which is good. And how did I prepare for my roles in the US firms? I would say there are a lot of similarities. Of course, the working culture is different. In Indian firms, it's a lot of hierarchical, it's fast paced. Of course, in US firms also, it's very fast paced, but there's less of hierarchy. Senior lawyers are actually invested. Like that's what I have faced in my law firms in Deckard or in Davis Wright. Currently in my law firm, my seniors are heavily invested in my mentorship, in my learnings. And that's what I also pass on to my juniors, and I get to learn a lot and I pass on that knowledge. It's high paced, complicated cases are there. In Davis Wright Tremaine, we try to simplify things, simplify solutions or innovate solutions for a complicated problem, something that you can do with a 50-pager SPA, which is share purchase agreement or whatever. We would try to do it in 20-pager, be very efficient for our clients because they are paying us by our hours. So we try to be efficient as much as possible, innovate things. So these are the differences in two law firms. But again, like to each its own, people can do whatever they want in different places. And I got to learn a lot in all of these places for sure.
Amazing. So you also play a very active role in firms' recruitment activities, including interviewing for associate candidates and others. What kind of quality do you look in candidates? Because that also is a very major part of preparation for any student. And
Yeah.
not only qualities, the way they act, the kind of etiquette that you see in them. How do you judge them? Because interview is just one day and the person will be there with you for a longer period of time. So what kind of maybe a checklist or anything that you can share that this is what we see while we are recruiting someone for such a big law firm?
First of all, this is a again very controversial thing to say. First of all, I should feel nice in that person's company. If our work hours, at times it gets very terrible, we have signings and closing, we are rushing, and at times it's fine, but at times it's super stressful. So you want to work with a person who is collaborative, who is nice, who can handle some task independently. If I'm giving that person a task, of course it varies as per the year of that person, but being nice, hardworking, should be able to take initiatives. I should see from that candidate that if that person will take initiative, is helpful or not, because at times we all work in a team. So you want helpful people who are there to help each other in stressful hours. Hardworking, collaborative, nice. And I think when you are interviewing with law firms like these, you are already smart. Like you can interview with these law firms only when you are smart, right? So all of these people are smart who come for these interviews. So we have to find someone who fit our culture wherever you are. And the culture that I look for is collaborative, hard work, independent, smart, saying yes to something if that person is given some responsibilities. These are the things that I would look for. But again, this is a very after thing for law entrants to think about. First, I would encourage them to have a spectacular CV, to be smart, to be eligible to reach to these places. You intern a lot of places. If you are sure you want to do corporate law, do internships with top-notch law firms from India. Go there, do research associateships with professors in your LLMs, and then go for these interviews.
Thank you so much for being absolutely crystal clear about all these aspects. So, at the very end, I would love to understand, or rather, we would love to understand that with such a demanding professional life, the kind of commitments that you have for something that you have worked so hard and you have reached that particular space, how are you planning to manage your healthy work life balance along with being a new mom? How are you going to delegate your responsibilities, and how do you see that till now you have done, first with your earlier life and now with being a new mom yourself? So what are your plans for times to come, and how have you done it so far?
So far, I think I have managed it well, like, not managed it well, but at least I have reached where I am, and I have managed it fine, I would say. I think strategy, you have to be a pre-planner and you have to be strategic about what you're planning. I think so far, every morning, my work days, I make my to-dos list, and I try to prioritize things at the very beginning. Like, this is urgent, this has to be done, this can be delegated to someone else, and this is something that has to be done by me, and this is something that I have to complete and give to my seniors. So every morning I do my to-do list and I plan accordingly, and I make sure that I have some time for myself, for walking or for my gym or whatever. In the evenings I do that, and then dinner. But at times you don't get enough time given how corporate jobs are. But I think strategy, pre-planning, and thinking urgency of a matter, delegatable, non-delegatable, and to do in mornings is very important. But honestly, Divya, I'm a new mom now. I myself don't know how I'm going to manage my motherhood, which I absolutely cherish. And I'm thankful to God that He has given me this blessing. I'm just ending my maternity leave and I have to join back my law firm job, which again, I really enjoy and love doing. So let's see how I manage those. But I'm sure in my law firm, I have a lot of mothers who are doing this. So I have in Davis Wright Tremaine, we have a very good support system and very good group of working mothers, and they have been very kind with their advice, and I'm sure I will learn from them. But this is a learning that I should share with you in few years down the line, how I manage my work-life balance after being a new mom.
Absolutely fun to be with you. Amazing answers, and thank you for being so straightforward about sharing all these aspects, which are very rare to find. And yes, there is no replacement for hard work. And may God bless you and your baby with a lot of fun days as well as stressful days, so that you enjoy overcoming that with your diligence and with your perseverance. You are an amazing attorney, and I'm definitely sure your baby is going to enjoy that particular working mom, and the way the baby will be raised. I'm pretty sure you will be enjoying that too. Hope you have amazing life, and we definitely will collaborate soon, and also will learn from you how you managed after being a new mom. Amazing interview, and thank you so much for carving out this much time along with your newborn, being there and you being so busy with the baby. Thank you so much, Yashasvi, for being
Thank
here.
you. Thank
It's
you.
an
Nice to meet
amazing
you,
fun.
Divya. Bye.